I feel Nigerians are challenged. They don't have a problem. Challenged because of a number of socio-economic factors and even political factors. And these are the things that shape or determine the outcome or even the behavior of individuals. In classical conditioning as a theory of society, because you are used to maintaining a certain lifestyle, not by choice, you begin to tend to behave in a particular manner, and it gives you either a stereotype description of your personality and people's perception of you, or it generally affects even your output and productivity. Personally, it affects also your personality. We have classically conditioned ourselves to the Nigerian time. Meanwhile, there is nothing like a Nigerian time or a Nigerian factor, because we are all humans, the same blood flowing in us, the same intellect, the same level of appreciation of issues. And like you said, truthfully, I wonder, people wear expensive wristwatches, but they don't have the little time, the cheapest time, to actually look at the watches. So it gives me a cause for concern. Process of change is successful when it's led by people, because people are supposed to lead development. Development is not supposed to lead people. And because change normally comes with its own difficulties, change comes with its own misconception. What the agency is doing now, is going to start doing, is to sensitize people enough about themselves, about Nigeria first, So by the time we are able to achieve self-consciousness, country consciousness, and raise it to a pedestal of pride and a symbol of our unity and integration, obviously at that point it will be easy to drive home other issues of change and transformation. If we have government facilities and offices, we'll begin to see government as us, not government on one side and us citizens on the other side. We have x-rayed how did we come out with the concept of doing the right thing. First and foremost, we check the entire spectrum of the Nigerian society, and we try to analyze what the challenges are. And we discovered it's because people don't want to do the right thing with their time, with their resources, with their opportunities. Because if you do the right thing, all the other challenges that are, stare us in the face as difficult to surmount are easily surmountable. Because it's cooperating, everybody cooperating to do the right thing. If you do your work diligently in the office, a file will not have to sleep in my office. It goes to the next officer and the next officer and the next officer, and it's dispensed with. But when you doing the wrong thing is when you keep the file there and you don't attend to it. All right? Doing the wrong thing is when you take bribe. You are indisciplined. You don't have integrity in public service. Doing the wrong thing is when a collective agree that this is a value. This is a value. This is a moral thing to do. Then you take the other way. You deviantly take the other way. Not constructively, but just because you dare to challenge a situation, So we now said, okay, Nigerians ought to start doing the right thing, ought to start driving right, ought to start keeping their environments clean as a matter of nature. It should be natural. It should come to us naturally. When we come to traffic light, we should be observant. If the lights are out and you are at the traffic junction, you observe as you approach. Whoever gets there first should have right of way. And as you are approaching the junction, you should naturally slow down your car because you don't know what is happening or what could cross the road. So you slow down and observe before you move, even if you have right of way. That is the right thing to do. These are part of the platforms that we will use. The schools, the traditional rulers, religious leaders, community unions, Citizens Responsibility Volunteer Scheme and the Y Brigade, socio-political, associations, political parties, all of this, we will get to them, to get to enlist their support and cooperation. It is true that it's difficult to change somebody whose life of doing or behavior pattern of used to doing the wrong things, has become embedded in his system. It's difficult to change such people. But we cannot just give up and say, no, we will not do anything about it. No one society has Puritans, and no one society is made up entirely of deviants. So within this, with these people, among these people, there are good people. And in Nigeria, there are a few more good people than other bad people. It's only the nature of our negative reportage of situations and difficulties in the country that seem to over or downplay the good sides of this country. So what we intend to have is a media that is reporting positively, is a police that is acting rightly, a movie industry that portrays a content that tells our story as a people. We are trying to reduce the social media as an arena of opposition and country bashing. We are going there. We are going to engage them. We are not going to run it because they are fellow Nigerians. Some of the groups, we know them. We'll invite them to a discuss. Let them come with free minds. Okay? Let us outline what the challenges are in this country. What are the possibilities? Let us see who has done wrong and who has done right in terms of groups. And then let us begin to look at how we can correct situations. Criticisms must be constructive and informed. You cannot sit down and be saying things that are totally wrong and ignorant about your country. It happened even here during the fuel subsidy protests. A lot of people were saying the wrong things, were lying to Nigerians. So that is why I say we need to, whip up that self-consciousness, that country-first consciousness. So if somebody talks to you about your country, you should weigh the option. There is nobody today that can go to America and start insulting America and the American will look at you. So we need to have that kind of sense of patriotism so that it will stop fellow Nigerians from insulting the country, no matter how bad the country is. We should not love Nigeria only when it is paying us. And that is what is happening. Most of those people who have condemned Nigeria is because they are not in government, or it's because the businesses they are doing now is not paying them, or some form of misfortune. Let's be honest. Let's pursue the right things. Now, we have institutions of democracy. We may not be doing it right, but we must start from somewhere. So, what happened to all the recommendations that they have been making about structure of governance and service delivery since 1970, 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990 to date? If the recommendations were not implemented and decisions or suggestions, these suggestions were made by the same people that are agitating for one thing or the other. And today we have institutions of democracy like the National Assembly. And part of what democracy preaches is to lobby your filmmaker, get him to understand what you want. Why can't we move from agitation to these people whom we have elected to begin to make them understand how democracy and institutions work by forming ourselves into lobby groups to influence policy, to influence development and processes of government? Instead, we prefer to do country bashing as an option. When, as you agitate and you want something done, the institution is there. If you begin to engage the National Assembly positively and they do the wrong thing, next time you take them out, they respect you more because they see you as a powerful force that can decide how they come back the next time. Whether we have to even go to school to teach people how to protest as part of the civic education. Because if you are protesting for whatever reason, you are not supposed to stop me from exercising my right. You protest, that is your right, and I don't protest, it's also my right. But what we had were people looting, were stopping big people, leading the protest, urging others to go and stop other people from doing their legitimate businesses, closing shops, stopping people from going to offices, those who choose not to join the protest. I can protest on the same issue in different way without joining street protest. I can do other things to show my feeling, on a particular issue. If we go to the Nigerian Union of Road Transport, they are used to people coming to sell all manner of things in the park. They are tired and bored. And because we want a participatory platform, we will engage them in theater for development. And we'll give them an idea, or we'll discuss an idea with them, and they, with us, dramatize those ideas in their motor parks and respective areas of choice. That way, when my officers leave, they leave the message behind. Because there, the person who acted the drunken driver will remain with them in the motor park, the guy who acted traffic warden will remain there, and all of those. So they'll be reminding themselves. And they become a constant source of reminder and advocates for doing the right thing. It is not government versus us, it's all of us working together to do the right thing. This campaign is not about people or the lowly. This campaign is about all Nigerians, whether you from the president to the last man. All of us are supposed to do the right thing. Nationalism is not that you must join the army. It's not about joining the army and dying for your country. For whatever you do, you must show that sense of nationalism and respect for your country. So whether it's sports, whether it's in journalism, that is why we say we should have, in fact, as an agency, part of what we want to do to get this Doing the Right Thing campaign going is to engage the media and movie industry so that we can redefine our country, the content to suit the stage of our development. If you see the newspaper content in America, it's not the way we have here. How is what I am doing going to help my neighbor and myself? What have I done this morning that is right, that will make my country a better place? Let's challenge ourselves and ask this question always. I want to see our religious leaders beginning their sermons every day by asking the people in the congregation, what have you done during the week that is so important that you are proud of or you are happy that it will help this country move forward? Last week we had reason to give prizes to deserving Nigerians who participated in 2007 in the national essay competition. They were all below the age of 30. That was the criteria, and so that they can also lend their voice. That segment of society should be able to find a platform to express themselves on issues of national importance and governance. So the agency created that platform and said, let's have a debate, let's have an essay, let's hear your views, let us see what the youths are thinking on issues of policy. We wanted to build a sense of patriotism and love of country for somebody, and to show them, because many of them came here, no, we don't know them, it's only the entries they made. So nobody knew any one of them, they didn't even know themselves, they were all meeting for the first time. Those of us on this side were also seeing them for the first time. So it was clearly a very fair and just process that produced those people. So they were shocked. It kindled their sense of patriotism and love for country, and we need to sustain it. So they become examples of what a good government would or can do. And that is what the transformation agenda of President Jonathan represents, which we are trying to put to practice in this agency.